was his yards per carry? I mean, just take him away. What was his yards per carry?
Right. I mean, I guess some people are like, well, if you use that logic, and I get why people do it. It's a couple carries that give the other 13 carries he didn't do much, but it's like Derrick Henry, take away his 94-yard touchdown run, he's still at 130 yards rushing or something. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully aware of how the math works, but, he saw the hole, he got through the hole. So, I think he deserves credit for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not looking at this guy and saying he was averaging 8 yards a carry.
No, he's not an 8 yards a carry back. He had a really good day against a bad team. They all had the same offensive line behind, and one guy was way more effective. I'll take away the 20-yard carry and affect his yards per carry as well. But, hey, man, you've got to
get back breaking plays. That's what you want. You want playmakers, right? That's what we've said all along for years. You hear the term, Lions need more playmakers. The guy ripped off a 54-yard run and a 20-yard run. He made a couple of nice catches in the game. He got some first downs. Those are plays that you need to be made. And I dare say he's a playmaker. It's good get. We thought they were going to take a running back in the second round. They took a running back in the second round. Wasn't the one that you wanted or that I wanted, but it was the one that many had as the top-rated running back on the board. Good. He had a great game yesterday. Take your hat off to him, say nice job, and go do it against Atlanta.
248-539-9797. Keith on a cell. What's up, Keith?
Yeah, how are y'all doing this morning?
We're okay.
Good. I just have my Edge game case. I've got a Lions question for you. Where would you rank Eric Dickel all time in the quarterback for the Lions?
Seriously?
Yes, seriously.
17th.
17th?
Yep.
Okay. And also, I heard some talk last week about the Tigers getting a new retractable roof stadium. Can you elaborate?
No, nothing
Thanks,
about
Keith. You're the best. Don't be a stranger.
it. Norm's in Detroit is on 97 on the ticket. Hello, Norm. Hey, Norm.
Hey, I just want to say, you don't get rid of Edge this year. It's going to get cold. And we in the Black Division, get rid of Edge this season. We have a chance in 5 years ago. We let it walk out of the game. You cannot let this man walk out of the game. So,
Somebody out here with 5th round, if somebody out here with 4th round,
playing the injury time running back, and 2 rounds ago, we couldn't step you should go play with the best team in the world. Like, I'm done with you.
you think this team's going to make the playoffs this year?
You know what? I'm always optimistic. I'm going with the Lions. I'm going with the Detroit Lions, whether we up 40 or whether we down 40.
I'm not mad at you for being optimistic, and I'm not mad at you for playing this year. I'm not sure Ty Johnson, they're going to rue the day. I mean, J.D. McKissick led the football team in rushing yesterday, and I liked Huntley a lot and was disappointed they let him go.
I don't know why we let him go. That was dumb.
Well, there's only so many roster spots.
I look at a bunch of players that we've missed on draft days. It's very hurtful.
There's clearly only so many roster spots, and you have to make some tough decisions at the bottom of the roster. And if you're letting good players go, you're either making huge mistakes or you're getting deeper.
I mean, a huge mistake to let J.D. McKissick go.
No, he was a leading rusher on a bad football team.
Yeah.
So.
But you could say the same thing about DeAndre Swift.
True. Yeah, that's true.
I don't think anyone has to worry. Adrian Peterson is not getting traded for anything. If he leaves this team, it's because the Lions are going to release him. Now, if that caller just wants him on the team, then, yeah, that would upset him. But I could not see Adrian Peterson getting a 19th round pick. I'm exaggerating, of course, but yeah.
How about 20th round?
Look at the NFL, and guys get hurt all the time on good teams, and good teams could use running backs.
Oh, I get it. And again, he's been, maybe more productive than any of us could have seen, but he's 35. I joked he was 50, but he might as well be 50 in running back years. Kenyon Drake, for example, got traded last year. You know what it turned out to be? A 6th round pick, okay? It's just not going to happen. But that was Kenyon Drake. He's like in his 20s, and he's much more upside than Adrian Peterson. I just
Peterson
don't.
had almost 2,000 yards rushing he hit almost 1,000 yards rushing each of the last 2 seasons. He was averaging 4.5 yards a carry.
And he was released by the
And
Washington
why
football team.
why did he end up in Detroit? They'd rather have J.D. McKissick than Adrian
I
Peterson.
get it, but I just think that, once you get the season going and you see, okay, this guy still has something, I think a team would take a flyer. If not, okay, I'm okay with it. I'm not married to it. I just think that he has some value. And if he doesn't, so be it.
All right, 248-539-9797. Time for our champ and chump. Gator, these are the people we single out for having an awesome weekend. Those are the champs. And those people whose weekend stunk, they get chump votes. I'll start. My champ of the weekend, Gator, is the Lions' offensive line. Fighting dehydration and injury. The right side of the offensive line, each starter only played 25 snaps, and they rushed for 180 yards on the ground behind Ode Abouche and Matt Nelson. Now, Matt Nelson was like, I remember the Iowa defensive lineman, Matt Nelson, but who's this guy? It's the Iowa defensive lineman, Matt Nelson, who's now an undrafted free agent that the Lions have on their depth chart as a backup right tackle. And good for them. What is it indicative of? I don't know, man. I wanted to have a local champ, so I'm champing the offensive line. They are my champ of the weekend.
Well, I'm going to champ Matt Patricia because the Lions coach, he's obviously been much maligned, properly so. But I got to give him credit for coming up with a defensive plan that worked while using all 8 offensive linemen as well. They didn't allow a sack. The real question is, can this team do that to tougher teams that are on the schedule? And they're going to find out on Sunday a little bit more because they'll have a revitalized Falcons team playing in Indianapolis on the horizon. But for the 1 week, Patricia, I think they had a great game plan. I think they used the bye week wisely, and it paid off for them. They got a W.
All right, let's get to our chum nominations. And you know what? I'm going to stick with the theme. The Browns offensive line got dominated by the Pittsburgh Steelers. They made Baker Mayfield's life hell through a pick 6. Another interception eventually got yanked as Pittsburgh rolled to the win. The Browns offensive line, boy, did they get trucked.
Well, Doug, my chump is Dan Mullen, the head coach of the Florida Gators. Now, this guy, a week ago, started campaigning openly for 90,000 fans to be able to attend the home games amid the pandemic, which seems ridiculous. Turns out that not only did more than 20 members of the team test positive for the virus, so has he. Now, I certainly hope he has a safe and speedy recovery and perhaps a new perspective to share as well when it comes to the virus, but good grief, man. Not a good week for Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen, Florida man. All right, Gator, thank you. Champ and Chump, get your votes in. Who had the best weekend? Who should be called out? We got a whole bunch of these coming in via text. Steve in Chicago writes in, Champ Doc Emrick, he announced his retirement and was such a good hockey announcer. Chump Aaron Rodgers laying an egg against the Bucks. I want to talk about both those. Doc Emrick, man, don't do it.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it until right before the show. I'm not heartbroken, but I'm disappointed. I love Doc Emrick, and he hadn't slipped at all.
No, Doc Emrick was the best. The best play-by-play guy in hockey. Love Doc Emrick. I am more impressed by hockey play-by-play guys
They're
than
the
any
best.
other
It's
play-by-play
toughest by
guys
far.
in the sport. It is the toughest sport to do. And, when you do it on TV, I'm not sure if it's easier or harder than it is on radio, but it's seamless. He knows every player on the ice. He has a description for every single thing that happens on the ice. It doesn't become too cliche within the game. I love Doc Emrick. I think he was an amazing play-by-play guy. He can do it for any sport, but hockey's what we love to do.
My favorite Doc Emrick term, I was like, what did he just say? Was waffle boards at forward.
Yeah.
And when you watch the play, you're like, that's about right. His chump, Aaron Rodgers, as you've been saying here, and totally indicated, it's over for Aaron Rodgers. You've said it, and for some reason people have doubted you, but you were proven right. You
cards. So stop by the betting window or a self-service kiosk anytime and get a piece of the action. Head downtown and get ready to believe in your game again at the Bet MGM Sports Lounge and MGM Grand Detroit. You must be 21 or older.
I didn't feel so well, so I searched my symptoms on Google, and now I'm being followed by uncomfortable ads. I hate feeling like my personal data is being bought and sold. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy with DuckDuckGo.
This Radio.com Sports Minute is brought to you by Northville Lumber.
This is Homer Esiason with the Radio.com Sports Minute. Earlier, I predicted Kansas City would prevail over Buffalo 31-24 tonight. In the regularly scheduled contest, Kyler Murray leads Arizona into Dallas. Murray will be running all over the place, while his Cowboys counterpart Andy Dalton, replacing the injured Dak Prescott, is a veritable statue. After a 9-year stint in Cincinnati, Dalton signed with the Cowboys in order to remain close to home during the pandemic. The Red Rifle inherits an offense with a tremendous arsenal of weapons. Like Dalton, Murray was a Texas high school legend. The 2018 Heisman laureate won 3 high school state championships and later the Big 12 championship at Jerry World. Tonight, he should keep his perfect AT&T Stadium record intact against the Dallas defense that's allowed a league-high, get this folks, 36 points per game. That's just awful. Arizona rolls. Let's call it 34-27. Enjoy the game, everyone. I'm Boomer Esiason.
There's an underdog story happening in America. In the moment they have the least, small businesses are giving the most. Well, Small Unites is making it simple for you to support their comeback. Find out how you can donate, shop, and share today at smallunites.org. Proudly sponsored by Capital One.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. You got what you need. Regular changes are the best way to keep your engine running smooth. We'll help you find the right oil for your make and model and everything to help you finish the job right, like drain pans, filters, and funnels. And we've got more ways to get it all fast, like our next day delivery and our free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
The COVID-19 pandemic continues to weigh on us all, but we can turn worry into action. Wear a mask and keep 6 feet of space between yourself and others in public. Wash your hands often and stay home if you're sick. Go to cdcfoundation.org to learn more.
Welcome back to the newsroom. Let's go to our eye in the sky and see what's happening right now in Michigan. Don?
Melanie, we're high above the John James campaign headquarters, and we're looking down at what appears to be a giant mountain of dirty cash. I mean, this stuff is filthy.
No surprise there, Don. The oil and gas industry and the Koch brothers network have spent hundreds of thousands to elect John James.
And let's remind listeners, it was the Koch brothers company that piled up those giant mountains of chemical waste that threatened our Great Lakes.
That's right, Don. And apparently, James said he would have voted against funding to protect the Great Lakes. He even said he wanted to get rid of EPA regulations that protect our water.
Stand by, Melanie. We're going to fly in for a closer look at all of John James' dirty cash.
And voters should take a closer look at John James. Clearly, he's not for us. LCV Victory Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by LCV Victory Fund, www.lcvvictoryfund.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Gordon Chevrolet, where you pick out the vehicle you would love to drive and receive a worksheet with 18 different purchase and lease payments for you to choose from. Not only do you pick your payment, but now you pick your program. Need to pull ahead your lease? Do you need GM employee pricing or a low payment with 0% interest? Gordon Chevrolet will help you find a vehicle to fit the program you need for the payment you want. Only at Gordon Chevrolet on Ford Road, just west of Merriman in Garden City. Gordon Chevrolet.
Find new roads. At home, in your car,